ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we'll continue our study of Shri Upadeshamrit. We are studying text number 4. So till now we have discussed the first four aspects. ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयते च. So the first four were covered. Today we will discuss on the last two, that is Bhungte Bhujayate Chaya. But before we begin, we like to seek blessings of Srila Rupa Goswami, who very much demonstrated all these principles by his own life. So last time I discussed how it was birthday of Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Rupa Goswami wanted to give him some nice prasad. So he had desired to cook sweet rice, and Srimati Radharani personally came and assisted him in providing sweet rice to his elder brother. At other time, we see when Srila Jiva Goswami was banished from Vrindavan for debating with the Digvijay Pandit, and another time for giving correction to Srila Vallabha Bhatta. Rupa Goswami was not happy. He wanted to teach all of us. There was no fault on the part of Srila Jiva Goswami, but Srila Rupa Goswami wanted to instruct all of us that how we should not be having this mode of debate or trying to prove ourselves. He did not want Vrindavan to be like the banks of uh, Ganga in Varanasi, where people are just debating, trying to prove themselves as better than others. So it banished Jiva Goswami. He had told that you don't have right to live in Vrindavan. But later on, when Sanatan Goswami, he came across Jiva Goswami when he was doing a lot of austerities in the caves underground, which were meant for crocodiles. So practically for one full year, he was fasting and very desperately crying out for the mercy, for crying out the holy names to purify his own heart. And that time, Sanatana Goswami comes and tells to Srila Rupa Goswami that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us three vital principles, and you're not following one of them. These three principles are Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jivadaya. You said this Jivadaya is something that we can practice. So Jivadaya also means Daya towards Jiva Goswami. So when this was told, Rupa Goswami he invited back Srila Jiva Goswami, and it is explained he personally took care of his health recovery. So till that point, Srila Jiva Goswami was serving Rupa Goswami in so many menial ways. Jiva Goswami would clean uh, the temple, or he would broom the floor. He would collect leaves for writing of Rupa Goswami. He would also do cooking. He would do all kinds of menial services. But now Rupa Goswami was serving Jiva Goswami by cooking for him, by applying medicine to all the wounds, or whatever health treatment was required. So that was done personally by Rupa Goswami to Jiva Goswami. And he also gave him personal instructions. One of them is this Upadeshamrita as told by some of the scholars. And in the end of this, Srila Rupa Goswami personally carved a deity, Radha Damodar. This Damodar deity was personally carved by him and gifted to Srila Jiva Goswami. So we see these aspects of Dadati, Pratigrinati, Goyamakyati, Puchati, Bhungte, Bhojayate, Chaiva. Very much demonstrated by Rupa Goswami by his own life. And so was Srila Prabhupada. We have unlimited pastimes of Srila Prabhupada when we get to see he followed these principles so nicely. So we seek their blessings and would like to begin our study for the remaining part of the fourth text today. And if time permits, we'll also try to start the next verse, that is text 5. Please recite the verse. Dadati pratigrinati
ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति
guhyamakyati pृच्छति
गुह्यम् आख्याति पृच्छति
भुङ्क्ते भोजयते चैव
भुङ्क्ते भोज्यते चैव
षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्
तद्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्
Dadati gives charity, pratigrinati accepts in return. Guhyam confidential topics. Akhyati explains. Prichhati inquires. Bhunkte eats. Bhojayate feeds. Cha also. Eva certainly. Shat vidham six kinds. Preeti of love. Lakshanam the symptoms. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts. Revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the six symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So last time I explained how these six are symptoms of Preeti, and Preeti can also be developed if we follow these six principles in our life. We read practically half of the chapter last time, the vital highlighted portions. Now we'll read the second half and then begin our discussion today. So the first half is giving a positive understanding of this verse. With whom and how we should be doing these Priti exchanges. But the second half part, Srila Prabhupada quotes from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is giving a negation kind of approach where with whom we should not be doing these six kinds of exchanges. So Prabhupada writes, people should give up the company of so-called yogis, jnanis, karmis, and philanthropists, because their association can benefit no one. In this regard, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur warns all devotees engaged in broadcasting the Krishna consciousness movement not to speak to the impersonalists or Mayavadis who are always determined to oppose such theistic movements. If a snake is given milk to drink, its poison simply increases. For the similar reason, we should not disclose our minds to the serpent Mayavadis and Karmis. Such disclosures will never help. It is best to completely avoid associating with them and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis and atheists or accept their invitations, for by such intimate intermingling, we may become affected by their atheistic mentality. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. It is the negative injunction of this verse that we should refrain from giving anything to or accepting anything from the Mayavadis and atheists. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also warned, Vishaira anna khaile dushta hayamana. When one eats food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes wicked. Unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize one's contribution to further the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, on principle, one should not accept charity from Mayavadis or atheists. And then Srila Prabhupada writes about the 50% principle of charity, which we already discussed last time. And that's how the chapter ends. So we will discuss first about Bhungte Bhojayate, and then we will come to this negative injunction of this verse. So eating is something very pleasing to everyone, very dear to everyone. Very easy way to experience Krishna in our life is by the means of accepting Krishna Prasad. If you see the journey of Krishna consciousness, most of the people, they came in touch with Krishna or they got attracted to Krishna consciousness primarily because of Prasad. And this is a very, very, very important aspect of the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. Uh, although there are so many verses in scriptures which speak about controlling our tongue, controlling our diet, controlling our mind and senses, but we also see Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita filled with so many descriptions of cooking prasad, serving prasad, and honoring prasad. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, like one of the topmost scriptures, a good amount of portion of this scripture is filled with so many descriptions of the delicacies which are cooked by devotees. So somebody may get bewildered. What is this? One side you say that we have to control our tongue, we have to control our diet. Other side you describe so much. Even when Srila Prabhupada went to West, when he would give philosophical classes, he would speak so much from the scriptures. He would quote so many Sanskrit verses. And he would also speak a lot about different recipes which he knew. And people in US, they were kind of astonished. They were feeling that Srila Prabhupada's knowledge of various recipes in vegetarian cooking is at par with his knowledge of Sanskrit in the Vedic scripture or Sanskrit verses in the literatures. So the scholarship which he has in scriptures, equal amount of scholarship he also has in cooking and recipes and how to cook, how not to cook, what to cook. And Srila Prabhupada gave a lot of importance to this Bhungte Bhojayate Chena. And as he writes, this is how our society will be nourished and this is how our society will also flourish. So our scriptures are very clear. They say that food is actually Brahman. Hmm. This is mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad. Anna Brahma iti. We understand that uh, this is not something material. We should not be seeing prasad or any preparation to be something material. Actually, it is extension of the same Brahma Tattva or Krishna himself. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Annam Brahma iti. And many acharyas have emphasized on eating something that is pure. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just now we have read, Vishayir Anna Khaile Dushta Hayaman, or somewhere it is said Malina Hayaman. And same thing, Chandogya Upanishad also says, which was quoted by Sripad Ramanujacharya, it says Ahara Shuddha Sattva Shuddhi. And he goes on describing how pure diet will lead to pure consciousness. And when Sattva Shuddhi Dhruva Smriti, only when you have pure consciousness can you have very fixed remembrance of the Lord. So unless one has been eating very pure diet, it is very difficult to remember Krishna. So we have to take prasad, and that prasad also we are supposed to take with devotees. Not supposed to eat generally alone. First one is supposed to feed others, and only one should be eating himself. As we all know the Vedic culture, that when a householder he has cooked his meal and offered to the Lord, before he eats, he has to call out. He has to come on the street, and three times at least he has to call out very loudly. Is there anyone hungry out there? Is there anyone hungry out there? If no one turns up, then you can eat. If someone has come, then we are supposed to feed that guest first. So our Vedic culture um, very much emphasizes serving prasad and satisfying people by our serving prasad. And there are so many etiquettes mentioned in this connection. Like if a guest is there in home, it is said that the first morsel should be eaten by guest. You cannot start eating before your guest has started eating. And everything that you have cooked should be offered to the guest. You should not eat anything that was not offered to the guest. It's not that okay, you give something to the guest and you have something else in your plate. Even if you want to take it first, it's an etiquette that you ask, would you like to have this? Even if there is some diet restriction for us, we're supposed to offer it at least. And if these guests are satisfied, uh, then it is said that they will, while leaving our place, they will leave behind many blessings in our homes. And that is how we will be able to progress further in our Krishna consciousness. So the whole purpose is to please them and satisfy them. Uh, and then so many things are described, like about how you serve prasad. Uh, Obviously, nowadays, because of a huge number of devotees sometime honoring prasadam together, we have this buffet kind of serving. Mm. But that's not the Vedic culture, ideally. Obviously, practical reasons we have to follow it. Even I have seen now in some places in Mayapur also, they had this very strict culture of everyone will be made to sit and devotees will come to their place and serve prasad in their plates. But even there, they are finding it very difficult now. In some of the kitchens in Mayapur also, they have started this buffet serving. So even if we are doing that, at least the mood should be actually the guest is doing a great favor by coming and receiving prasad. Mm. It's not that we are doing some favor, that they have to come to us and we will give you something. No. You sit in a place, we will come to you because you are giving us great opportunity by getting benefited by serving you. So when it comes to our eating, we should be very uh, careful to follow all the principles of mm, Jiva Vegam, Udara Vegam, and Atyahara, those kind of things. But when it comes to serving others, we should not remind them these verses. That Prabhu, हो गया अभी ना. They're supposed to do some, this is the fourth verse in NOI. Bhungte bhojayate. But before that, there are other verses. Did you read them? Please read them nicely, then you come to my home for prasada. No. When we are serving, we should be serving in abundance. No miserliness should be there in serving. But when we are taking, we should be hesitating. And we should be trying to limit ourselves. So, also it should be Preeti Lakshanam. It should not be Lobha Lakshanam or Force Lakshanam. Sometimes some people have this. Uh, I come from a Gujarati family where we have this culture of pushing people a lot to eat. If some guest has come, you make sure that he eats up to his neck. Mm. and and they feel okay. Only if we have done this, then our serving is successful. So yes, it is good that we should be serving in abundance, but the person who is receiving also should be happy. That is another important thing. It should be a Preeti Lakshanam. Like one devotee was sharing how in the pre-Christian era there were a set of people, kind of not exactly priests, but they were considered some special people. If you invite them to your home for meals, for eating something, then whatever sins you have done will be taken away by them. That was the concept. होता है ना, like if some great soul comes to your home and you serve them prasad and तो say सारे पाप कट जाएंगे. हम शुद्ध हो जाएंगे. With all sins will go away. So this pre-Christian era, there was some set of people, a particular section in the society. So if anyone has done any sinful activity, then they would invite this group. Please come and have prasad in my home. And they will serve them. And the concept was more they eat, more sins are taken away. So while serving these people would become very insensitive. That no, you have to eat more. You have to eat more because my sins have to go away. But they're not at all worried about the person who is eating. What is he going through? What that person is feeling. So it should not be like that. We should not be seeing inviting devotees to our homes like this. That oh, if devotees come to my home and eat, all my sins will go away, and I'll get a lot of mercy. More they eat, more I'll get benefited. So at any cost, this person has to be fed till his neck, unless prasadam particles start coming out from his nose. I have to eat. I have to feed. No, that should not be the mood. The mood is Preeti Lakshanam. The mood is to develop a loving relationship. So that's how we see the mothers, they are cooking so nicely out of so much love. And when the family also eats that with a lot of gratitude and appreciation, that develops very loving bond. A very loving bond is formed between the mother and the rest of the family members. So Srila Prabhupada would personally cook some 15 to 20 items when it was the beginning days of ISKCON. Mm. So we see this principle from him that we have, while serving, we should not be miserly. It's not that, okay, I'm alone, old man, first time in US, and these are all hippies. Anyways, they don't know anything. Let me just cook one khichdi. They should be satisfied. No, when it came to serving, he actually went out, he begged for donations, he did purchasing, he did cooking, he did serving, and he even did plate washing for all these hippies. Once there was Vyas Puja of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they were celebrating this Pushpanjali in the afternoon. And Sri Prabhupada asked the devotees, how many items have you prepared for the feast? And the devotees, they said, Prabhupada, not many guests will come in the afternoon. So we did not make feast in the morning. We thought in the evening many guests are going to arrive. That time we will have a very grand feast for the Vyas Puja of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Prabhupada was very upset. He said, today is, I think appearance day or disappearance day of my spiritual master, and this is how you honor him. So just that moment, Shri Prabhupada entered kitchen, and within some 1 or 1.5 hours, He cooked so many preparations. And then those preparations were offered to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada showed by his example that uh, when it comes to serving from our side, we should be doing with full capacity. There should not be any miserliness. We see that in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. This is Madhya Lila, chapter 14, text 42 and 44. Uh, so, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, तबे महाप्रभु वैसे निज गण लैया भोजन कराइला सभा के आकंठ पुरिया तबे महाप्रभु निज गण लैया he brought all his associates भोजन कराइला सभा के he was feeding everyone आकंठ पुरिया up to their neck. At that time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down with his personal associates and had every one of them fed very sumptuously until they were filled to the necks. भोजन करी वसीला प्रभु करी आचमन प्रसाद उबरिला खाय सहस्रेक जन. After finishing, the Lord washed his mouth and sat down. There was so much extra prasadam that it was distributed to thousands. See, this is how it should be. It's not that someone come and he says, sorry, prasadam is over or prasadam is falling short. It is not there. It should not be like that. We should be serving with abundance that thousands of people should be able to eat. प्रभुर आज्ञाय गोविंद दीनहीन जने दुखी कंगाल आने कराय भोजने. Following the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda, his personal servant, called for all the poor beggars who were unhappy due to their poverty and fed them sumptuously. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding like this. We also see when Haridas Thakur had passed away. That time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to all the shops in Jagannath Puri and he was begging alms. He was begging donation to prepare a grand feast on the disappearance festival of Sri Haridas Thakur. And these shopkeepers were thinking, for all these years, Mahaprabhu did not come to us. It's first time he's coming. And why did he come? For doing Bhungte Bhojayate. Because he wanted to feed all the people without any discrimination so that they all can be satisfied. So that is a Gaudiya culture taught to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would say that any meeting without eating is simply cheating. Any eating, sorry, any meeting that ends without eating was simply cheating. So no meeting should end without eating. And that's what Gita also mentions that any yajna, any religious performance you do, and if you do not feed people at the end of that performance, then it was in Tamoguna. Mhm. And so even if there is no facility, like we see Srila Prabhupada, although there was no facility, but still he tried his best. In the very beginning days, once when Prabhupada was giving class in 22nd Avenue, and one hippie brought one apple. And what did Srila Prabhupada do with that apple? He said, thank you. I like apple. What did Prabhupada do with that apple?
offered it and
Yeah, he cut into small, small, small pieces and distributed to everyone. Hmm? Something should be given. Something should be given. Hmm? And obviously, Bhungte Bhojayate, while doing that, we should also follow proper etiquettes. Because I'm speaking about Apple, I just remembered one past time. Prabhupada was going by car. I don't remember who was driving. Uh, I don't know whether it's Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu or Mukunda Maharaj. Someone was driving. So he was driving and Srila Prabhu was sitting next to him. So somebody gave from behind, Prabhupada would like to have apple. And Prabhupada took one bite and he gave it to the devotee who was driving. So it became like Prabhupada's Maha Prasad. And this devotee, he took another bite and he gave it back to Prabhupada. So this is it should not be like this, you know. Okay, generally people do, when they have, very nice preeti, you eat one bite, and other person eats one bite, you eat one bite, other person eats. But you cannot do like this with spiritual master. Saying that bhunte bhujete, shadvidham priti lakshanam. So he did not know the etiquette. It's a very new devotee. So he thought, okay, Prabhupada is giving. He took one bite and he gave it back. Okay, you eat now. So yes, we should do bhunte bhujete, but we also should be careful about the etiquettes that we follow. So in Prabhupada, he said that our ISKCON uh, is a kirtan movement and also kitchen movement. And his first sannyas disciple, Kirtanananda Swami, many times affectionately he would call him Kichanananda Swami because he was the first one who started assisting Prabhupada in kitchen, cooking for the hippies. Prabhupada said that we will eat our way back home, back to God. So there are two ways he would say. By chanting Hare Krishna, we will go back home, back to God. And by eating Krishna Prasad, we will go back home, back to God. Because these are the two functions of the tongue. Sevonmukhi jivadam. You begin serving Krishna with your tongue. First is by chanting Hare Krishna, and another is by tasting the Mahaprasad of the Lord. So, and so many pastimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We find Advaita Acharya inviting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda for prasad. Very famous pastimes. And they had such loving exchanges with each other. And devotees also would send so much dry prasad and Mahaprasad from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. Whenever devotees would travel to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra, this Raghavera Jholi, this Raghav Pandit in this bag, so much prasad was sent for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also would taste every preparation and he would give the feedback. Yes, it was very nice. Oh, this was so nice. This was very nicely cooked. So, and Chaitanya Charitamrita goes on discussing so many preparations like this. So, the same Chaitanya Charitamrita that glorifies the austerities of Raghunath Das Goswami also glorifies all these preparations and great feasts which are going on. So, bhakti is not just about some dry renunciation, some dry spirituality. It is actually filled with Kevala Ananda Kanda. It is very joyfully performed with very amazing activities. And this will continue even in the spiritual world. This Bhunte Bhojayate is not something temporary, it is eternal thing. In Srimati Radharani, in the spiritual world, it said that how many preparations she cooks? What is specialty about Radharani's cooking in Golok Vrindavan? Is that she cooks simultaneously on 50 stoves. Hmm? And yeah, never repeats a single preparation. So when we are trying to prepare something new for the devotees, it's not something material. Hey, kya, always was looking for new recipes and cook something nice for the devotee. Oh, that is what Radharani also does in spiritual world. Once she has cooked some preparation for Krishna, she will not repeat it again. Now someone may say how it is possible. Yeah, it will not be repeated, and also because her love is ever increasing, What Krishna is testing is the love, not just the preparation. So that way it will not be same preparation. Mm. Because it will be filled with much, much more love, which is ever increasing in Srimati Radharani's heart. Mm. So when Radharani is cooking like this for Krishna, she is offering her heart's love to Krishna through her cooking. Mm. When she's cooking for Krishna, she is offering her heart's love to Krishna through cooking. So that is how our mood should be. When we are cooking, the consciousness is, oh, let me give give a great experience to Krishna by these preparations that I'm making. And when Krishna has accepted it and he has filled it with his mercy, then devotees are even more eager to receive it with the double intention. One is I will get Krishna's mercy because he has poured down his mercy in this prasad, and I'll also get the devotion of the devotees who have cooked it. Because Krishna has been feasting on this because it was filled with so much love. And now let me take the remnants of that prasad because I also want to have that kind of love for Krishna and also want to have his mercy. So we should always be looking for opportunities of having this kind of exchanges of bhunte bhojayate. And this is the easiest way to begin any loving relationship. Amongst all the six, this is the easiest way. Sometimes you may give some gift to people, but they may or may not like, or we don't know how people will take it. But if you cook some nice preparations, some prasad, they are willing to take it. And many proper disciples, they would do preaching in some tough areas by first distributing prasadam there. If you go to meet some big chancellor of a university and you try to give him spiritual books as a gift, Dadati, he will not be willing to accept. But you tell him, oh, this is some nice preparation my mother has cooked. And he will accept it and he appreciates it. Oh, this is so nice. He starts making advancement. And that's how by first eating, feeding little prasad, after some time, the person is completely transformed. The same person who was not even willing to touch Bhagavad Gita has become preacher of Bhagavad Gita by just eating Krishna Prasad. So, uh, yeah. Any, mm, any relationship, if you see in any sampradaya, by any Vaishnava Acharya, they have focused a lot on this aspect. Mm. So, this was about eating. Now, Srila Prabhupada has written about not having any exchanges with Mayavadis and atheists. So, surely it is important that we don't associate with them. Prabhupada even quotes that we should not be hearing Krishna Katha from them. He's quoting actually Sanatan Goswami's verse. What is that verse? Avaishnavo Mukhadgirinam Putam Harikathamritam Shravanam Naiva Kirtavyam Sarpochishta Payoyatha. He says that if there is a Vaishnava like Mayavadi or atheist, Putam Harikathamritam, although Harikatha is purifying, we should not hear from them. Why? Because Harikatha is like milk, but when it is touched by a poisonous snake, even that milk becomes poisonous. Same way, although Krishna Katha is very potent, if it is touched by the lips of Mayavadis or atheists, then it has a negative effect. So we should be very, very careful. What we should be careful mostly is not to have these six loving exchanges with them. Now, sometimes there could be situation where you have to have these exchanges with them, but we don't do that with love and affection. Like you see, Srila Prabhupada, when he went to New York, he was staying with Dr. Mishra, who was a Mayavadi, and Prabhupada was cooking for him many times. He was taking care of him, just like Jiva Goswami was being taken care by Rupa Goswami. Like that, many times when Dr. Mishra was sick, Srila Prabhupada would actually take care of him, would cook for him. And there are also uh, incidences where when Prabhupada was sick later on in Vrindavan, 1977, once Mayavadi came, when Mayavadi came to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had a long conversation with him, and even fruits were exchanged. Srila Prabhupada offered them fruits. He also gave back fruits. And when that Mayavadi was leaving, Prabhupada got up from his place. He came up to the door to see him off. So one may say, what is this? A Vaishnava. How can we have this? So the point is, in the name of not having Priti Lakshanam, we cannot be hard-hearted towards them. We don't have to insult them necessarily. That go and shout, yell, or insult them. I mean, to be very careful that we don't lose the etiquettes. We don't go down from the Vaishnava mode, because you see, our acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he even quotes Madhusudan Saraswati in some of his commentaries. Sri Madhusudan Saraswati is Pakka Mayavadi, and his texts are quoted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in some places in Gita commentaries. He says Shri, I don't know, Shri Pad or some very respectful honorific he gives. uh, that this particular Madhusudan Saraswati is saying like this, and he explains that. Even Rupa Goswami in his Padyavali, some of the verses he has taken are from Mayavadis. So the point is, that means they have even read, or they have even heard what these people have spoken. So, like once there was one ISKCON sannyasi who was meeting one Mayavadi, and he spent some half day with him, and many devotees started clicking photos and criticizing. He's associating with Mayavadis. He's associating with Mayavadis. But what is he doing with them? We don't know. What is, you can even have conversation, and sometimes you may even have some discussions, but we don't have to do that at our level when we are not very much fixed up in our philosophical understanding. We are not very much fixed up in our own bhakti. Then we have to be extremely careful. And what we have to be more careful is with uh, is this preeti, that sharing of our joys and sorrows, or very affectionately doing something, is not good. So in this connection, I would like to read out something that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in Bhakti Alok. Uh, Very interesting. He says that as long, see, for people in the renounced order of life, they may be able to give up any kind of dealing with uh, materialistic people in this world. But especially those who are householders, and till the time you have this material body, you cannot give up dealings with materialistic people. We have to have dealings with them. But what you should do is, you should not do these six exchanges with love. And the same activities when you do with a sadhu, with a devotee, then that thing you should do with love. He gives example that if there is a beggar on the street, and he's begging some alms, and you want to give either some Lakshmi or some prasad, do you ask, yeah, are you Mayavadi? Because I should not be doing these exchanges with you. Bhungte bhojayate. Are you a Mayavadi? Or you have to give some donation to him. Then it becomes Dadati. So Dadati or Bhungte, we don't ask him. You're a Mayavadi, then my bhakti will be spoiled. No, that is not the point. Point is, we don't do it out of loving relationship. Oh, let that Mayavadi become a heart-to-heart friend of mine. So many such dealings will happen of Dadati, Pratigrinati also. Sometimes some discussions also may happen with them. But we have to be careful about our consciousness. Like Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they had to live with the Nawab, mm, and on Nawab's terms. And he was a very brutal king. He would do such nonsense activities which he cannot even discuss about. And Rupa and Sanatan Goswami had to live with them. He had to, they had to continue their administrative duties, and but what they were careful about is not to do these exchanges with Preeti. Mm. not doing any exchanges with love and affection with those people. And then I'm just reading as it is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written. Uh, he says that a Grahastha Vaishnava should accept prasad, grains, and drinks in the house of another Grahastha with a pure character. One should always be cautious about taking prasad in the house of non-devotee and one with bad character. There is no need to speak further about this. Then he says, due to their pious activities, those who have developed faith in devotional service, due to pious activities, those who have developed faith in devotional service have a little intelligence by Krishna's mercy. Due to that intelligence, they can easily understand the essence of Acharya's instructions. Therefore, only a few words are needed to instruct them. Those who have no pious credits and have no faith, even if they are given volumes of instructions, they will not understand a thing. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami has given only a few words of instructions in Sri Upadeshamrita. Very interesting. He's saying that you got the point. I think Rupa Goswami has given very few points because if you have that faith, you have that piety, you have that sukruti, you will be given an intelligence by Krishna how to act in a particular situation. Oh, Mayavadi has come. What should I do now? No, that much Krishna has given intelligence, you'll be able to decide. But when we do not have that, no matter how much you are explained, you will not understand how to act in a particular situation. So as we go on doing bhakti, as we make progress, we will be able to understand it much better. We will get that power of discrimination to decide in this situation, at this moment, what should I do? I have been invited by a friend for eating. Should I eat or not? I have been invited for a program or outing with some people. Should I go or not? This is how much instructions can I give? He said, you will understand the essence of Acharya's teachings to the degree you have that Sukruti with you. This was very striking point which I felt that Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained. Now, coming to the conclusion of this chapter. Yeah, so sometimes we will have to even tie up with some Mayavadis. Can you think of some situation where ISKCON devotees will have to do some tie-up with some Mayavadis?
कुंभ मेळा प्रभु.
Yeah, Kumbh Mela sometimes you have to do some tie-up. Which other times have you seen ISKCON devotees grouping up with Mayavadis? This Bangladesh attacks were happening, and that time, all Hindus were coming together, yes, to protect Sanatan Dharma. And that time, you see, if only ISKCON devotees are protesting, how much effect that protest will have. But if you join hands with all the Hindutva people, then you can create a very big wave in Purusham. So that time we have to have meetings with Mayavadis. We have to go with them. We have to do kirtan with them. We may even have to do dancing with them because the goal is something else. So the point is, every time you meet them, you don't have to call them fools and rascals. And that is all the Prabhupada writes about such things in his books, but he was not like that when he was dealing with them. Hmm. So while dealing, we have to deal with a lot of maturity. And also sometimes some people may be Maya connected to Mayavadis, but they may not even know what is Mayavad. No, they may just be under some Mayavad kind of influence. And sometimes if you try to preach them, they could become devotees. So we have to use our Krishna given intelligence, and then decide whether to speak or not to speak, or not to have any exchange, or even try to discuss philosophy to some level, some extent. That will depend a lot on time, place, circumstances, and our own sincerity and Krishna consciousness. So these are the vital instructions given by Rupa Goswami. And I would say this is one of the most important verses from Shri Upadeshamrit. What is Dadati Pratigirinanti? Goyamakyati Prichati Bhunte Bhojayate Cheva Shadvidam Pritilakshana. It is said that the quality of our Krishna consciousness depends upon the quality of our relationship with devotees. Uh, uh, so, what kind of quality relationships we have with devotees? That will help you to judge what is the level of Krishna consciousness you have achieved. So, and this is the key. This verse is the key to practice that very nicely, properly in your life. So we have completed this chapter. Anybody has any striking question on this, or can we go to the next chapter?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
And Prabhuji, is there any transfer of karma when we take or when we give remnants to others or when we receive?
yeah. If it is a normal food, there is transfer of karma. But when it is Krishna Prasad, then it becomes transcendental. It is free from any sin. But yes, if you take the remnants, the consciousness gets transferred in that case. The consciousness of a person who has cooked, the consciousness of a person who has eaten that will get transferred. Mhm. Okay, Naveen, you have asked something. What is the question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
So, yeah, so you were mentioning that maybe you give something to someone and then that person would not like it. But I was just thinking like it can be true for prasadam as well, that you cook something which may be good for you, but maybe the other person do not like it.
Yeah.
Does not like it. Yeah.
Actually, his liking is also important. But even if he doesn't like it, if he takes it to the degree he appreciates it, to that degree he'll get benefited. To that degree he'll get benefited. Actually, prasadam, lot of glories are there. Someone even looks at prasadam, will also become purified. The Mahaprasad of the Lord, if it is really cooked with such nice consciousness, it's very, very powerful. Okay, Shamchandra has written, how do we differentiate between Sukruti and good karma? So, uh, Bhakti Anmukh Sukriti and there is Bhoganmukh Sukriti. So, Bhoganmukh Sukriti is the piety which will help you to go to heavenly planets, the material activities where Krishna is not involved, like digging wells for someone or giving books in charity, clothes in charity. This will all generate Bhoganmukh Sukriti. But when you do something centered around Krishna, then that will generate Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti, which may not give you any material, may or may not give any material prosperity, but surely it will give you spiritual progress. Does it answer your question?
Any examples, Prabhuji? Like, of course, you gave for the other one. Similarly, so it's more like serving devotees or helping them in something.
Yeah.
Would that be the right one?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we will begin the text 5. We are supposed to do this last time. Yes. This is a very interesting. So till now we have discussed that we need to do loving exchanges with devotees. Now Rupa Goswami has taken a verse to explain us that while doing these 6 exchanges, we also had to have discrimination, as we discussed now also. Even in devotee society, we should have that discrimination. Hmm. It's not that just because someone is a devotee or someone is wearing tilak, someone is chanting Hare Krishna, then you can, fully surrender to that Vaishnava. You can fully associate, even in Vaishnava society, because this, in general, this Priti Lakshanam uh, will be done with very few people, maybe a single digit number. But how do you deal with the rest of the society of Vaishnavas? How do you deal with the Vaishnavas of other sampradayas? So that is also a very important factor if one wants to make progress in Krishna consciousness. One has to have clear discrimination. What kind of discrimination and why we should have that we will discuss in this verse. So this is text 5. Could recite the verse. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा द्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशम्
दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशम्
शुश्रूषया भजन विज्ञमनन्यमन्या
शुश्रूषया भजनविघ्नमनन्यमन्या
निन्दादिशून्यहृदमिप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या
निन्दादिशून्यहृदम् ईप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या.
So Krishna iti. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna, iti, thus, yasya, of whom, giri, in the words or speech, tam, him, manasa, by the mind, adriyeta, one must honor, diksha, initiation, asti, there is, chet, if, pranatibhihi, by obeisances, cha, also, bhajantam, engaged in devotional service, Isham, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shushrushaya, by practical service. Bhajana Vigyam, one who is advanced in devotional service. Ananyam, without deviation. Anya Ninda Adi, of blasphemy of others, etc. Shunya, completely devoid. Hridam, whose heart. Ipsita, desirable. Sangha, association. Labdhya, by gaining. Can devotees hear now? Okay. Will read the translation. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, in order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. So it's an easy Sanskrit here, simple Sanskrit. Krishna iti. So someone is chanting Krishna's names. When it is said Krishna iti, this is also called as Upalakshanam in this verse, where it is not necessarily only Krishna. But if someone is chanting any of the names of Supreme Personality of Godhead, even that person has to be respected. So, just like there is one of the Nyaya in Sanskrit, which is that please protect this particular yogurt from the crows. and the cat comes and spoils the yogurt, and then the person says, "Hey, why you did not protect the yogurt?" He said, "No, you had told me to protect it from crows." So when I told you to protect from crows, crows doesn't mean only crows. Crows means crows, etc. Whoever else is going to come and take this yogurt, you should protect the yogurt. So there, the crows is called Upalakshanam. The same way here, when it is said Krishna, doesn't only mean Krishna. Just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. Krishna has hundreds and millions of names, and in all his names, he has invested all his potency. So Krishna, Govinda, Rama, Narayana, Sankarshan, whatever the names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Surely this does not apply to the names of Devatas here. So Krishna iti yasya giri. Giri means in the mouth or on the tongue. So anyone who has chanted Krishna even once by his mouth, tam manasa adriyeta. We respect them in our mind. Second, dikshasti. If someone has taken diksha, then we should do pranatibhis because it's initiated devotee. We actually offer pranam, and this pranam can be offered by uh, body and mind and speech, all three, if possible. But if body is not in a position, at least through our mind and speech, we should offer obeisances. But Diksha is not enough. He also should be doing Bhajantamisham. Because in the times of Rupa Goswami, the Diksha was not divided in two parts like it is now in our ISKCON society. First we have first initiation, then we have second initiation. At that time, Diksha means you get both the initiations. You get the first and second initiation together. And the meaning of receiving second initiation also means he has to be doing some bhajan, some bhajan tamisham, some worship of the deity he has to do based on the instructions received from his spiritual master. So many spiritual masters would also give Shaligram Shila at the time of initiation to the disciple, or sometimes they may give Govardhan Shila to the disciple, and he has to do both Diksha plus Bhajan Tamisham. Then you have to do Pranam to him or to her. And Shushrushaya. Shushrushaya means you have to inquire submissively and serve. Whom I should do that? Bhajana Vigya, someone who is very expert in the science of devotional service. And Ananyam, he has become one pointed in devotional service. He does not keep hopping and jumping from bhakti yoga to other yogas. He doesn't keep hopping and jumping from worship of Krishna through this mantra to that mantra. He's Ananyam, he's focused, he's fixed in his path. And Anya Nindadi Shunya. Now here, Prabhupada has given three categories. Kanistha is the first one, Krishneti Yasya Giritam. Madhyamadhikari is the second one, someone has got Diksha. And third one is Uttamadhikari, who has become Bhajana Vigya, is Ananya, and Anya Ninda Adi Shunya. He does not have any even propensity to criticize anyone. He doesn't even criticize anyone. Such a person, Hridam Ipsita Sangalabhya. One should be longing to have association of such Vaishnavas, and one should inquire from them, Shushrushaya, and serve them. Some acharyas have given four categories here. They say first is Krishnati Yasagiridam, anyone who has chanted, respect them in mind. One who has got Diksha, do pranam, when he's also doing Vajantamisham. Third person is, if he's a Bhajana Vigya and Ananya, then he should do Shushrushaya. But when somebody is Ninda Dishunya, then you should be longing to associate with them. But we will go with the meaning that Srila Prabhupada has explained. The last two lines describing Uttamadhikari, the second line describing Madhyamadhikari, and the first line describing Kanishtadhikari. Now, these three adhikaris, this adhikar is not like the adhikar which someone claims based on one's birth. Like someone may say, okay, I'm a Brahmana. So I have that adhikar of whatever is allowed for a Brahmana to do. It's not like that. This is a progressive thing. When someone is a Kanishta Adhikari, doesn't mean lifelong he's going to remain Kanishta Adhikari. Like someone is a born Shudra. In general, people will say, okay, lifelong you're born Shudra, so you're always Shudra. You're born Kshatriya, you will die as a Kshatriya. You're born as a Brahman, you will die as Brahmana. So these Adhikaris are not like that. This is a progressive thing. Right now, someone is Kanishta, but as he makes advancement, he will become Madhyama. And as he makes further advancement, he'll also become Uttama. It is not locked on Adhikar. It is open Adhikar. Based on your advancement, you will be situated in one of the three categories. So anybody remembers last time in one of the classes we have discussed how do we identify Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari? In one of our last class, we discussed.
So based on the dealings with other devotees and deities.
Okay, that is one of the criteria. ईश्वरे तत् अधीनेषु बालिषु द्विषत्सु च प्रेम मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा यह करोति स मध्यमा. So a Madhyamadhikari has 4 different dealings with 4 personalities. Ishware, he wants to love Krishna. Ishware tad adhineshu. And those who are devotees with him he wants to have mode of service towards them. Prema, Maitri, friendship towards them. Prema, Maitri. Kripa is towards innocent people. Innocent people he wants to be Kripa. And Upeksha, he wants to keep away from people who are envious and blasphemous. Kanishta Adhikari, what is his vision of this world? He sees only Krishna as important personality in the temple. He doesn't value devotees. He doesn't value devotees. He wants to have direct relationship with Krishna. He doesn't know that Krishna is pleased when you serve his devotees, when you serve the spiritual master, like that. So that is a Kanishta Adhikari. And Uttama Adhikari, he sees everyone as pure devotee except himself. And even if we may say, hey, how can you see a dacoit as a pure devotee? So Uttama Adhikari will say, he is doing all this, criminal activities to teach me what I should not be doing. To teach me what I should not be doing. He's doing such a great service. So I also do pranam to him. But all these are liberated pure devotees. The whole world is doing everything to make me devotee one day. That's his consciousness. What other understanding we discussed? How do we decide who is Kanishta Adhikari, who is Madhyama Adhikari, who is Uttama Adhikari? Okay. Yes, Kanishta Adhikari, Manisha Mataji is telling, not enough scriptural knowledge and not enough faith. 2 things. Shastra Yukti and Shraddha. So a Kanishta Adhikari will have less knowledge of the conclusion of Vedic scriptures and he will have less Shraddha. A Madhyama Adhikari, he has lot of Shraddha and his knowledge of the conclusion of scriptures is not complete. Whereas Uttama Adhikari, he is very convinced, he is Drudha Shraddhavan. He has Drida Shraddha in Bhakti, in Krishna, in the devotees, and the spiritual master. And he's also very expert in understanding the conclusion of the knowledge given in scriptures. He may not know every verse, like Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He may not quote so many verses from so many scriptures because he was, in one sense, illiterate. He was not even able to write his own name. But he was very clear with the conclusion of the Bhakti scriptures. What is the right understanding? Any question you ask him, he'll give perfect answer. So, Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Kanishta Adhikari do this knowledge of conclusion of scriptures and Shraddha, these 2 things. Very low, medium, and very high. These are the three levels. Enough scriptural knowledge, but not strong. Yeah, so Madhyamadikari, actually he has a lot of faith, but he doesn't have sufficient scripture understanding to convince others. So I would suggest all of you please read this chapter this week when you get time, and I'm sure that some confusions will come, because some statements Prabhupada has made uh, in this chapter, you'll feel, oh, if you read the definition Prabhupada gives of Madhyamadikari, and especially Uttamadikari, you feel, yeah, I am also Uttamadikari here. Uh, this लगता है ना, हो गया है, आ गए हम भी उत्तमाधिकारी बन, maybe I can show you that line. I could not highlight that. Mm, let me come here. When a person realizes himself to be eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that this is his only business. Spreading Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as Uttamadhikari. And some more definitions Prabhupada gives. So one may feel, yeah, I am also convinced that Krishna's service is the only thing. And always I'm thinking how to spread the holy name, how to do programs in so many places in the world, how to make people chant. And one more definition will come. So when we read such kind of definitions, we'll feel, yeah, it's done. Now I should just be preaching. But as I discussed last time, that these kind of statements have to be taken in overall context. I gave example that sometimes in a law book, there will be a law that if a person has committed such and such crime, he should be hanged to death. But it is not applied just as it is. Otherwise, why there is a judge sitting? Why there are lawyers who are debating? Because you have to see overall context. You have to see so many other laws. So many things are there. And then final conclusion would be whether the person should be hanged or not. Same way, although this is a simple definition of Uttamadhikari given, but we also have to refer other definitions of Uttamadhikari given by Rupa Goswami in other places. And when all these definitions are brought together, then things will be very clear. Because sometimes Prabhupada will quote only some aspect of that definition in this chapter. You will get confused. What is this? Whether I'm Uttamadhikari or whether I'm Kanishta Adhikari or whether I'm Adhikari or no Adhikari, what exactly I am. So we have to see a complete overall context. But in general, can someone guess for whom this verse is meant? Krishneti yasya giritam verse is meant for whom? Is it meant for Kanishta Adhikari? Is it meant for Madhyam Adhikari? Or is it meant for Uttam Adhikari? Or is it meant for everyone?
कनिष्ठ अधिकारी प्रभु जी.
Kanishta Adhikari?
Instruction to कनिष्ठ अधिकारी.
Okay, instruction to Kanishta Adhikari. Yeah. But actually, the moment he will start discriminating like this, he becomes a Madhyama. Are you getting? Because he's actually a very neophyte person. He doesn't have much faith. in scriptures, doesn't have much faith in the devotees, doesn't have much faith in path of bhakti only. So he will not be willing to take instructions also from devotees. A Kanishta Adhikari will not be even willing to take instruction for devotees. So yeah, as Anusham Prabhu Vasudha Goswami told, this is for Madhyam Adhikari. Because he has some faith. He may not have so much knowledge, but he has faith. He's willing to take instructions. And Madhyam Adhikari will be able to, is being taught here actually, that when you meet a Kanishta Adhikari, you respect him. Don't disrespect because you have become a Madhyam. When you meet another Madhyam Adhikari, you offer obeisance to him. And Uttam Adhikari is someone whom you should be longing to serve and associate and inquire from. And surely this verse is not for Uttam Adhikari. Why? Why this is not for Uttam Adhikari?
Because Uttam Adhikari will any which ways see everyone
Yeah,
much higher.
because he will just be thinking everyone is a pure devotee. Obviously, at the same time, he's very intelligent not to associate with everyone. He doesn't say that, oh, this Kanishta Adhikari also Uttam Adhikari only. So let me do Shushrushaya. Hmm? Let me do Hridam Ipsita Sangalabdhya. No. That is the point how you can understand whether he's actually Uttam Adhikari. Hmm? Otherwise, he may appear completely mad. Even mad person on the street may appear Uttam Adhikari there. How do you know? He may be in Krishna Prem, but he's very careful. He's very discriminating about his association. Uh, like, uh, see, many Vaishnava acharyas have told that we have to give respect as per the uh, person's level. And this is a prayer to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur Dayara Sagar Eda se karuna kar. In that he says, uh, Sakale Sammana Korite Shakati Dehonatha Yatha Yatha. You heard this? No? Sakale Samman, I want to respect everyone, but as per their level. Dehonatha Yatha Yatha. I should respect that person as per his level. Not that everyone I will respect as I respect my spiritual master. So although Pandita sees soul in everyone. What is that verse in Gita? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shopake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. A Vidwan Pandit sees a Brahmana, a cow, a dog eater, everyone equally. He, sorry, Gurudev Kripa Mintu Kriya, not Vaishnava Thakur. Correct, na? Manish Mami? Gurudev, yeah, that is ours. So he's asking the spiritual master to give him strength to respect people properly. Thank you for that correction. So, although he sees everyone equally, a Brahmana, a cow, elephant, or even tiger, but he will not deal with tiger the way he deals with cow. He has to have discrimination. Like one our senior devotee used to tell that you cannot go in front of tiger and say Vancha Kalpaturu Bhasya Kripa Sindhu Bheva. If you do that, what he will say? Mahaprasad Govind. Namar Mahamaya Vaishnava. So we see everyone equally, we respect everyone, but we have to have discrimination. So there was one very elevated Paramahamsa Babaji, his name was uh, Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. He was a contemporary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that time. Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, so many pastimes you can discuss about him. Although he was practically illiterate, but any question you ask him, he will give very perfect understanding. Even while singing Vaishnava songs, he will sing one line from one song, another line from another song, third line from third song. Something. Even while telling pastime, he was not at all consistent. He will begin telling one pastime. After a few lines, he will switch to another pastime in the middle. And then he will go to third pastime in the end. And you'll feel, whether this person, how can you say he's a Paramahamsa Uttamadhikari? But he was very careful about not associating with materialistic people. Whenever people came to him and had some material discussions, actually he was so careful that he would not even look at people and speak. He would only look at his deity and speak. Even if you ask him something, he will look at his deity and speak something. He was very, very careful. So Uttam Adhikari, although he sees everyone as pure devotees, but he himself knows very clearly. He doesn't require these instructions. So Acharya suggested that this verse is more applicable for a Madhyam Adhikari. He is being taught how you should be dealing with different kinds of devotees. Now the first line is Krishne iti yasya giri. In someone's mouth or tongue, if Krishna has been chanted even once. Manasadriyeta, you should respect him in your mind. In one sense, if you see this whole verse, the foundational principle is respect. Correct? To these people, you respect in mind. To these people, you respect by offering obeisances. And to these particular people, you serve them also. You associate with them also. But the foundational principle is respect. And this is a very, very important aspect to be understood, that Vaishnava society means it is a society based on this very important value of respecting others. One cannot deal in Vaishnava society how one has been dealing previously in the materialistic society, where people ask, who are you? Do you know who I am? Or very arrogant disposition that is not at all favorable, especially in the Vedic culture. Respect was something which was uh, which is a value you cannot compromise. That is how you see Pandavas, they agreed to the gambling match because it was it was a request from a superior person. If they have said, we cannot say no. Correct, huh? Even in Gita, this verse comes, Pujarha Varisudana. These people, although they have gathered here to kill me, they are my worshipable superiors. They are my seniors. How can I kill them with these arrows? Whatever they may be doing, no problem. But they are my seniors. I have to follow. And sometimes this may appear very fanatic value. Is it not? अरे बड़ा लोग बोलेंगे कुछ भी बोलेंगे आप कुछ भी कर लेंगे क्या in my home I had this kind of feelings in my childhood sometimes because I come from a joint family where we're 30 members staying together, and this very strong culture was there. You have to respect, even if someone is 3 days elder to you, you have to call them bhaiya or didi. You cannot call him by name. And if he says something, he's right. And you are wrong. That was the culture. I said, what is this? This is not at all justified. I was right. Just because I am younger doesn't mean I am wrong. मेरी क्या गलती है इसमें? He said, no, he is elder. You have to respect him. And he's right. Generally, that was the system. And I would feel this is foolish. This Vedic culture is doesn't make sense. But it started making a lot of sense much, much later when I came to Krishna consciousness. I understood that yes, that value of Vedic culture is extremely important if one wants to chant the holy name constantly. But what is the principle? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishuna amani namanadena kirtaniya sadhari. If you keep saying that no, I should be respected also, sorry, you cannot chant. Actually, the Goswamis, they have explained us that unless one has dainyata in one's heart, one cannot experience Krishna. This dainyata is like the peak of humility, where one feels I'm the most wretched person in this creation. Right? Now Goswamis, they were so scholarly, they knew six languages, they had so much wealth, they had so much power, they had such beauty, they had such high birth. But if you go on reading their writings, and many of these writings they did not even know that they will get published. But how they're expressing, Amar Jeevan Sada Pape Rat. Nahi ka Punya Lesh. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after writing all these books, He's telling, I don't have a leash, not even a leash of piety in my life. If you read these kind of things, and Kaviraj Goswami is saying that I am lower than the worm in the stool. Hmm. So unless we have this level of dainyata, actually this dainyata is a result, or is a symptom. We can understand they are experiencing Krishna Prem. Hmm. Anyone who has Krishna Prem has to have this dainyata. If he doesn't exhibit this dainyata, sorry, there is a there is a doubt whether that person is actually having Krishna Prem in his heart. Hmm. He has to have this dainyata. And this dainyata means everyone else is better than me. I am the worst of all. That consciousness is very prominent in all these personalities. So this Vedic culture, which was there, that was helping one to come to that stage. Hmm. Amani na mana dena, so that you can do kirtaniya sadhari. Are you getting? It was such a beautiful thing, which was given to us. Also, when you have this culture of respect, it becomes very easy to control your mind and senses. Just out of respect for your seniors, you will control your mind and senses. You may feel like beating someone, but no, he's senior. I cannot do that. Or someone may feel like stealing something, or someone may feel like, secretly doing some intoxication, but he will not do because of respect for his parents. Correct? He may feel like doing some wrong activity when he's in hostel, when he's in the college, when he's somewhere outside. But he will know what will my parents feel. What will be the respect of my parents in my society if I do this kind of activity. So this culture of respect would help one to control one mind, control one's senses, and to develop all Vaishnava qualities, and most importantly, that ultimate quality of that humility and dainyata. Now, the root of all that begins with respect. One who has humility will give respect to others. If you don't have, you start giving respect, humility will arise, humility will come. So, a Vaishnava society means a society that is formed on this very important value of respect. And if we, in Vedic culture, anything would be tolerated except a disrespectful behavior. If you do disrespectful behavior, then आपकी कोई खैर नहीं. Like that's what you will see in the Vedic culture. The mothers would be very strong on the child if he's disrespectful towards other people in the society. Have you seen that? If the child shouts back or speaks something nowadays, I don't know how it is, but those days I have got solid, no punishment. You speak something, and if mother is cooking, that same hot whatever spoon or something she's using, that she will touch to your mouth. And how dare you speak like this? तुम बोले ही कैसे ऐसे? How dare you speak? So as soon as disrespectful behavior was seen, the person was thrashed, literally thrashed immediately. The guru was allowed to beat disciple if he's disrespectful. Because if he's not able to respect someone, he will not be able to control his own mind and senses. Forget about chanting, Shuddhanam and things like that. So if we are supposed to respect everyone, hmm, then what to say of person who has chanted Krishna's name at least once? Because a person who has chanted Krishna's name is not an ordinary person. We get to see verses in scriptures like Bhagavatam. It says that अहो बत श्वपचतो वरीयान् यज्जिह्वाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यं ते पुस्तपस्ते जोगुसस्तुनार्या ब्रह्मानुचूर्णाम गृह्णन्ति ते. This person who has chanted holy name even on the front portion of his tongue, jivva agre. It's not that he's chanting from his heart. He just happened to do jivva agre vartate nama tubhyam. He, what is that person? Tepus tapaste. He has performed all kinds of tapa, all kinds of austerities. He has done all kinds of yajnas. Juhu Sasnurarya, Brahmanuchur Nam Granintiyete. He has taken bath in all the holy places. Only after that one has become qualified. Obviously, this cannot give qualification to chanting of the holy names. But if someone has chanted, that means he has already done all these activities, even one chanting. And we see that if someone is sinful, it doesn't have sufficient pious credits, he cannot chant holy names. You cannot chant holy names. Just like we see in the case of Ratnakar, he was not able to chant Ram. So he had to be given mantra of death. In the name of death, that is Mara, 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 Mara. That became Ram. So just because someone is not in ISKCON, doesn't mean we don't have to disrespect them. You know, just because somebody is Adarna Sampradaya. Even a Mayavadi, Prabhupada said, if you see a Mayavadi sannyasi, we have to offer obeisances. If you do not do, then you have to fast for the day. Hmm. So when they say, why this? Why should this? Because this is important for us. This giving respect is important for us to grow in our bhakti. And we are not doing favor on someone by giving respect to others. We are doing a great favor to ourselves only by respecting others. Because only that will qualify us to chant Shuddhanam Nandi. So we'll stop here. The further aspects of this verse we'll discuss next time. And also we will begin another verse in the next class. I'm sorry if I'm beginning the new chapters in between the class. I prefer to start a new class with a new chapter, but uh, I'm poor in this section management, time management. But please bear with me. We'll continue discussion on this next time. If anybody has any question, you may stay back. We'll take a break for a minute and then answer these questions. And those who are getting late, they can leave. Shripati Shamrit ki jai, Srila Prabhu Swami Pada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
We just had one small doubt. Prabhuji, is it right to cook for some devotees? But like as you say, like while cooking, one's consciousness gets transferred. So like, is it appropriate? Like the fear of this thing?
Yeah, so Prabhupada says, what is a mantra for offering bhoga to Krishna? He says, there's a lecture called Meekness Mantra. So this meek feeling in your heart is the mantra which will attract Krishna to accept whatever you have cooked. So if you feel that I'm not qualified, I'm so impure, how can I cook for Vaishnavas? How can I cook for Krishna? Uh, but what can I do? Mm. This is the only way I can serve and purify myself and try to serve those devotees, please them. So, oh my Lord, although I'm very impure, but I have tried my best and I'm at least chanting 16 nouns or whatever basic principles are expected. I'm following that. So, if you like, please accept this offering. And then when this mood is there, then Krishna does accept it and he will take care of the rest of the things. So, because if everyone says like this, then who will cook? I don't have
Yes,
right
true.
consciousness. But this is a good reason if you want to escape cooking. Prabhu, I don't have right consciousness. What can I do? First, you feed me, I purify my consciousness, and then I will cook. So, Prabhupada says this meekness mantra will help us. Does answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, Hitesh Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I would like to, if you don't mind, Prabhuji, I would like to revisit the question regarding this karma transfer when giving remnants. So specifically, I would like to put forward a case study, not case study, just example, Prabhu. That suppose we are left with some food or the remnants, and if some beggar comes and if we give it to that beggar, but beggar is there because in that state because of his past sinful karma. So I specifically want to ask you that by giving our remnants to the beggar, can we also incur his sins or his sinful reactions?
Is that prasad or is it just some karmic grains?
Both cases, Prabhu.
Hmm. See, in case of prasad, uh, we understand that that beggar will get benefited. And even if you don't give, somebody is anyways going to eat the remnants. So, food is always eaten by someone. It is never, it never goes uneaten by anyone. So even if you leave it, some microbes will eat, some insects will eat, some rodents will eat. And so I've seen two kinds of behaviors by devotees. When it is prasad, somebody feels, oh, how can I give my remnants? I cannot give. But somebody feels, okay, at least it is Krishna's remnants. That portion will surely benefit that person. And my eating that is not going to contaminate this prasad. Prasad remains uncontaminated. So even if we give, there is no problem. And if they don't give, somebody is anyways take it. Somebody is anyways going to eat it. And when it comes to beggar, uh, giving some karmi grains. So first of all, if we are eating that, anyways, we are eating sin only. Mhm. It's not purified sufficiently. So if we give it to the beggar, uh, as far as I mean, these are quite complex things about karma cycles. I've not done very deep study in this aspect, but as far as my understanding goes, we have to see the good portion we have to see and just go ahead and not too much worry about the negative reaction that will come. So if I give to the beggar, he will get benefit. At least he will get some food, and one person who is giving will also get some piety. And we don't have to worry so much about, oh, if he eats, will I get some bad karma? Will that get transferred to me? Or if he eats, people apply sometimes very deep logic. If he eats and he become more strong, and then he will do more simple activities. So let him remain weak. Uh, so we don't have to get into a very complex analysis like this. But they have to say, okay, right now it is going to benefit that person. I have done with good intention. So let me do that. Later, whatever he does it with that strength that he will get by eating, that's up to him. I don't have to worry so much about it. Anybody has any other understanding in this connection? Manisha Mata, you want to share something in this connection?
Actually, for remnants, it's
Alaji, I'm not able to hear you sufficiently. If you can be a little louder or
yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. How is it now?
little better.
Prabhuji, for remnants, it's means as per my understanding, it should not be given to anyone.
Remnants?
Yes, remnants. It should not be given to anyone. It's like remnants. So
Yeah, but anyway, somebody will take, na? Remnants का होता क्या end में?
yes,
Food doesn't go uneaten by anyone. Are you getting the point?
yes,
Obviously, then the question can be, can I give to some human being? That is the question. Okay, some animals are eating, and anyways, karma anubandhini manushya loke. Karmas are on there only for human beings, not for the animals. So we should not be giving. It is not good. But the ideal standard is to give something fresh. But if this is what is remaining, and anyways it will be thrown, uh, can I give? That is the question. And that person is, dying out of hunger. So in that case, even if someone gives, uh, see, my understanding is Krishna is a person. You also see your intent. With what intention are we doing? He's not there just to keep marking red flags in our life and just be ready for punishment. He'll see, okay, what is the purpose? What was the intention you gave with? That will also be seen. Best thing is if one becomes a devotee. Mhm. And has prasad, and then prasad doesn't get contaminated by overeating. So this smart understandings and Vaishnava understandings, many things are quite different. Uh, like if you eat anything, generally we have to rinse our mouth because they're contaminated. That's smart understanding. Vaishnava understanding is if you have eaten Mahaprasad, it's not necessary that you rinse your mouth. Your mouth is pure only, clean only because you have eaten Mahaprasad. So ideally, obviously, we follow all the systems that if I'm going into the altar, I should rinse my mouth. I cannot go like that. But we should not have that feeling that I have become contaminated by eating, or I'm right now in an impure state. Uh, Many such things are there. Like when we do cleaning after eating, the place is generally contaminated in the smart understanding. If some Vaishnava has taken prasad, it has become a very pure place. It's not a contaminated place. We don't mop it because it is contaminated. We mop it because prasadam particles are there, somebody will walk over it. He will, get negative reaction from that. In order for that not to happen, we clean that place. It's not that the place has become impure. Correct, no? So these are some understanding. So best is one becomes a devotee, and then even if one gives the remnants, he should not worry. He should see the good part of what he's trying to do. Does it answer your question, Siddesh bro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Trunima bro, you want to add something to this? These two devotees, Manisha Mataji and Trunima, I very much depend upon them for getting more clear understanding in these classes. Amok Shampoo is also not there right now. Yes, Saurabh bro.
Prabhuji, my question is related to the one that you just said, like regarding washing the, like cleaning the area where the prasadam is taken. Like in Vaishnava etiquettes, it is there, it is mentioned, and all of this, like washing mouth and all this. And I have a question particularly on Ekadashi. So someone takes a prasad, and if don't clean that area, and if we take prasadam on that particular area, so is it okay? Like if there is no remnants present, or will it break our Ekadashi or something like that?
Yeah, so Ekadashi, we have to be surely very careful. As much as possible, we don't eat uh, others, like remnants and all. ऐसा होता है तो एकादशी टूट जाता है. But see, Ekadashi also I'll tell you, in smart understanding, Vaishnava understanding. Smart understanding is you have to follow all the rules very pakka. The fast breaking has to happen on time. If you do not do that, if a Vaishnava who's doing Ekadashi, he is not able to break his fast on time, and their fast breaking time has passed away, then what should a Vaishnava do? What prayashchitta he should do?
Again, fasting next
No,
day.
not required. Rupa Goswami says, no prayashchitta required, just continue doing bhakti. Because even if you miss fast breaking time, what you will miss? You will miss the Bhogunmukh Sukriti of the Ekadashi. Bhakti can never be missed. Because Neha Vikramanashoste Pratyevayona Vidyate. The bhakti never gets destroyed. Whatever chanting you have done, whatever Gita recitation you have done, whatever deity worship you have done, that benefit is there with you. That has not gone away. But if it was a Putrada Ekadashi, you are supposed to get some pious credits of getting a son or getting a wealth or getting free from some sin. That you will not get if you missed that fast breaking time. But bhakti you will surely get. And why we are doing Ekadashi? Ekadashi is Madhavatithi Bhakti Janani Jatane Padana Kari. But in general, we have to be careful also to follow all the principles which are mentioned. We don't become fully transcendental that no, I'm a Vaishnava, so I'll not worry about fast breaking time. No, because Krishna has mentioned those principles, we also try to adhere to those principles very strictly to please Krishna. The goal is to please Krishna there. So on Ekadashi day or any other day, if someone is eaten in some place, yes, we don't eat generally there because the prasadam particles are there. We may walk over it. We may kind of uh, do aparadh, offense towards Mahaprasad. That's why we generally clean. And while serving others, we also want to give a very clean place. But when prasadam is fallen there, we cannot say it is contaminated place. Ekadashi day, if you eat in such a place, maybe you may lose Bhoga no Sukriti. Maybe. But Bhakti Sukriti you will never lose. That will surely get. That is my understanding. Any other devotees want to add anything to this? Manisha Mataji, Tarun Devaki, Shyam Chandra, please feel free to add. So no prayachita required for a devotee. Just continue doing regular devotional service. Just do more bhakti. I showed that verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu last time. The devotee doesn't have to do any prayachita.
Roji, one question. Similarly, when it comes to the leftovers of kids in Grihasthas, it's very common.
Yeah,
to
within
have
family it is allowed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Not a problem.
And Fuji, the one thing that you mentioned on Ekadashi not having the remnants, I had a discussion with one of the senior devotees in Bangalore, and he mentioned that if you are eating the remnants of any devotee, it does not impact your Ekadashi because it's Maha any which ways.
That's what I'm telling you. So the smart understanding and the Vaishnava understanding is very different. You may lose Bhogan Sukriti.
Yeah.
Even if you lose something, what you lose is the Bhogan Sukriti, which anyways devotees don't want.
Yeah.
But Bhakti Sukriti will not be lost. तरुण महबू बोलिए कुछ.
No, Prabhuji. You're telling the essence, Prabhuji.
No, listen. You have written a comment that you also heard devotees say not to give remnants to cows. Yeah. So obviously you don't have that conscience that, oh, I should be giving something, but the worst situation, cow is like in a very bad situation, bad shape, what can be done. So ideally cow should not be given any cooked food only. Cow should eat uncooked, all natural grass, and cow should not be given any cooked preparations. Like that. Okay, Saurabh, how to deal a situation while sitting with your colleagues. You're sitting with them, they are defaming some other colleagues. You're not sitting with them, then you may miss some valuable information of department or institute. Yes, Prabhuji, so you have to pray to Krishna. Yadami buddhi yogam tam. Please pray to Krishna, give me right intelligence how to deal in this situation. If criticism is happening, we have to be very careful. We should not hear it. Uh, but we have to sit with them because then only you get to know many things which are vital for you to know. So one should be intelligent enough to divert the topics to something positive. And maybe you can try to educate those people. How if you're looking or meditating on someone's faults, then you're not getting much benefited. Very soon that fault will also appear in your personality. But let us try to see good in others. Then our vision is changed. That will help you health. That will help your mental health. That will help your physical health. So if you try to educate those people and try to bring the discussion to something positive, eventually, then they can continue to move with them. So you'll have to take some lead in creating a good culture than just being just being a participant in such assembly. Does it answer your question? So
Yes, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you.
okay, fine then. We'll stop here. Suresh, you have one more
Yes,
question?
Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Prabhu, sometimes because I was habituated about hearing some abhangas from Varkari Sampradaya, but I'm not sure about there are some artis also from Varkari Sampradaya, and there are some good uh, Maharajas from Varkari Sampradaya who are
If they
singing.
invoke very devotional feelings in your heart, you can sing them, not a problem. If they invoke devotional feelings, and if there is no contradicting Siddhanta in that, then one can sing. Not a problem.
Okay.
As far as possible, one should sing those things which are sung by Vaishnavas. But otherwise, if it is not contradicting with Siddhanta and if it is helping you to cultivate devotional mood, then sometimes, occasionally, like that, you can hear. It's not a very big problem. But it should not become the main sadhana. The main sadhana is
Yes.
this is very occasionally one is hearing. That is allowed.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Like nowadays, many this Braj bhajans are becoming very famous. Some singers, many devotees have their ringtones also. Some Govardhan, Vasi, Samre, many such things. Occasionally one hears, if we say, okay, he's a Vaishnava, he's coming in the proper Sampradaya. And if it is not contradicting any Siddhanta, then it's okay, occasionally. But that should not become the main sadhana. Sadhana should be. And one is very doubtful, one can even consult one's spiritual master. And then one will say. Because sometimes we may not know there is a contradicting Siddhanta. Like there was one song which was also sung in ISKCON earlier, that इतना तो करना स्वामी जब प्राण तन से निकले गोविंद नाम लेकर मेरे प्राण तन से निकले. So this song, even in ISKCON, sometimes some devotees would sing. I would also sing this song from childhood. Later, some devotees told me that there is one little different Siddhanta where the song is further giving a lot of request to Lord that आपकी आपकी फर्जी है, and it's your responsibility that you have to come and uh, save me at the time of my death. But actually, a devotee does not put any uh, condition on Krishna like this. जब अंत प्राण जब अंत समय आवे कोई रोग ना सतावे, no disease should come to me, and you should come. It is your responsibility because I have done so much bhakti of you whole life. Now it is your responsibility that you have to take care of me at the time of death. So some Vaishnavas say this is not a good Siddhanta for Vaishnava. Or they say that राधे राधे दे कहो चले आएंगे बिहारी, है ना? अब राधे राधे कहो तो बिहारी को आना ही पड़ेगा, बिहारी आ ही जाएंगे. So sometimes some finer aspects may not be matching with our Gaudiya Vaishnava mood or Siddhanta. So in such songs, one has to sometimes first get confirmation. But some things which are directly mentioned in books like Mahabharat, say Vishnu Sahasranam, or some prayers, uh, or some prayers by some very great Vaishnava, like in South India, Tyagaraja is there, someone like that. Then one can sometimes sing the problem. Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you all for joining. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand.